Well, if you look at some of the commentary that's come out of the region, Bahrain, Omani officials have been very positive about this. Israel has made a number of trips. Israeli diplomats have made a number of trips to the Gulf in various forms or another in recent years. So I think Bahrain and Oman are the most likely candidates for normalising relations. Saudi Arabia is going to slowly improve its relations with Israel as well. That's not to say they'll normalise anytime soon, not in a formal perspective, but I think down the line that's certainly a possibility. There's been a lot of covert interaction between Israel and the UAE for years now. In fact, one of the more open cooperations that we've seen recently has been around COVID and vaccines for that pandemic. Plus, we've had intelligence sharing and cooperation on defence and other sectors. So it is historic, and it's very important to see that in a formalised manner. But that's not to say that Israel and the UAE. This marks the first time that Israel and the UAE have cooperated. I mean, the other key area where Israel and the UAE are aligned is strategically in trying to minimize Iran's influence in the region. If you look at what Iran's been doing, example, for the last couple of years, it's increasing its influence in Syria, it's got its influence in Lebanon. And so the UAE and Israeli interaction is a large part in limiting Iran's ability to threaten those two countries as well. Any normalisation of ties between the UAE, between other Gulf states down the line, doesn't really fundamentally change prospects for a two-state solution, which were effectively zero at this point.